All right, well, yesterday I had an opportunity to come out to this place and spend a little bit of time with the Gateway chapter of the Army Aviation Heritage Foundation, where we were taking an in-depth look at the Huey helicopter, which is really the iconic aircraft of the Vietnam War. Learned a lot, had a real fascinating visit with some really cool people. Well, they invited me back, and Lord have mercy, today we're going to be going up in the air with this thing. All right, now, when it comes to being in a Huey helicopter, I have zero experience. But I happen to be with a guy today who has a lot of experience flying in a Huey. This is John Stillman, who is a Vietnam veteran with the 101st Airborne and also co-author of the Vietnam memoir, Jumping from Helicopters. So John knows way more than I do, obviously. So he's going to kind of take us around this aircraft and tell us a little bit about what it was like flying in one of these in Vietnam.
We're going to start here. This is where the two door gunners would sit. One would be a crew chief that actually did the maintenance on the helicopter. The other one would just be a door gunner, but they both had machine guns on both sides. And it would have been mounted here on the floor, or sometimes with a bungee cord from up here on top, and that would just hold a machine gun. All around him, he would have a spare barrel, because he'd have to change that barrel when it got too hot, and he'd have another weapon too, an M16 or some other weapon case he needed if they got shot down or anything. But this was his office all day long, and after they got done flying, then they would have to service a helicopter, get it ready for the next day. Fuel it, check out anything the pilot told them there was problems with, see if they could fix it before they flew again. Okay, moving up to the middle of the helicopter in Vietnam, I never saw a seat once in a helicopter. But I imagine the one where high-ranking officers rode around in would have had seats, but they took them out for us. This helicopter, the fattest part of the helicopter is right here in the middle, and it was designed that way to put a stretcher in there with a wounded, and also anybody that was killed would put them in this way, head first, and just lay them in there and stack them up in there. Riding in the helicopter, usually the guy that would sit in the middle would have the radio, and that was a little bit more weight, and he'd be in the middle, and maybe he could talk a little bit more if they were talking to him on the radio. I always like to sit in the door, preferably on the other side, because I'm right-handed, and I could sit like on this side like that and hold my hand on this door frame and stand up and even step out like this up to the pilot and just ride this way and then get a nice cool breeze. But I preferred to be on the other side, that way I could keep my weapon in my right hand instead of my left.
So you all would just stand on that skid?
Yeah, just stand on this skid like that, and I got my arm wrapped and I'm kind of pushed up against this frame, holding that frame, and you know, the only way you're going to go out is if your arm would, something happened to your arm where you couldn't grip anymore. But I mean, other than that, you're just standing here. But what I like to do on the other side, staying that way, sometimes you go up to the pilot like this when you're doing that and tap on the window a little bit, and if it was somebody new coming in, it would give them kind of a little bit of a start, you know, with flying through the air with somebody on the outside of the door.
No way. Huh.
Normally the pilots, I always looked at the back of their head, at their helmet, so you never really got to know any of them, or even what their face looked like. They'd have sunglasses on and that helmet all wrapped up. Sometimes they would, coming up or off, you would see their face a little bit, but other than that, I knew they were young, pretty young guys doing it, but never got to talk to anybody or see any of them. The only time I saw them was in the field, never back in chamber area. The door gunners, you'd see them a little bit more because they're sitting back here, and sometimes they would say something to you about the pilot doesn't want you to jump off when you're coming in, but we'd jump off anyways. About 5 foot off the ground, just jump off. Get away from it. The goal was for this bird to get back up in the air before somebody shot it, because we want them to be safe to come back to get us. Our lifeline.
These guys were something else that flew these things, weren't
Yes, they were amazing.
Wow.
I never heard of one that would refuse to go in any place to pick somebody up. Even heard stories about where they were told not to come in and they did it anyways.
Wow.
Just truly heroes.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy how this aircraft right here completely changed warfare. What it did is allowed the U.S. military to get troops out in the field quicker. So just by comparison, in World War II, the average soldier in the Pacific saw 40 days of combat throughout the entire war. In Vietnam, the average soldier saw 240 days of combat in a year, and it was because of these Huey helicopters that were allowing them to get men in and out at a higher rate. Pretty crazy. One other thing, John is a super humble guy, and he wouldn't say this himself, so I'll say it for him. Go buy Jumping from Helicopters. His book that he co-wrote with his daughter Lori is absolutely amazing. I actually put together a book trailer for him that I'll put a link to down in the description. But go to Amazon and get that book. It's one of the best Vietnam War memoirs that you will ever read. So they're doing the test flight for the Huey right now before they start taking people up. Well, as a matter of fact, there it is right there. Something else that the Army Aviation Heritage Foundation has here, though, that's really cool is a Cobra. Now, we're not going to be flying in the Cobra today, but the fact that they have one is just darn cool. Okay, so I've stepped back a little bit to get away from the rotor noise, but Cobra, pretty amazing aircraft. In Vietnam, they were finding that the Hueys as a gunship were way too slow, so they developed the Cobra. It first saw combat in Vietnam in 1968. Was fitted with two 2.75-inch rocket pods, having 7.62 minigun, 40mm grenade launcher, so this thing was a beast. And John told me that in Vietnam, the first time that they saw this thing coming up from behind a berm, it looked like some sort of alien spacecraft. And then whenever it unleashed its arsenal, they were just completely blown away. Pretty cool to see one of these in action, though. Okay, so that was awesome. Man, that thing just feels aggressive. Kind of standing nose to nose with a Cobra gunship. Not something I get to do every day, but yeah, I can see why they chose that to be like the attack vehicle for the forces there in Vietnam. All right, we're gonna head to the other end of the airport here to the landing zone for the Huey, and then oh gosh, I guess we're gonna take a ride. Okay, so our Huey is going to be coming in here directly. Now, I'm going to have a headset that is going to be able to pick up some of the radio traffic and communication while we're flying. I can't talk while I'm on the flight because they don't need some moron chattering on the comms while they're trying to fly the aircraft. So, yeah, I see the Huey coming in the distance now, and we're gonna get all set up and I guess do this. All right, well, there it is. There's our ride. Ah, dear heavens, Lord have mercy on my poor stupid soul. All right, here we go. Second step, first step. Inside or outside?
365 Bravo, right base, 16 full stop, crew car.
So go ahead if you're ready.
Okay.
We're gonna have to expedite.
Coming up. Crew car
Clear left.
Cobra 6, Hotel Fox, on the go on the runway.
Here we go.
Departing to the north.
I'm holding. No, hold.
Kilo Pop Valley. Center, right. 5, 1.
I see these guys. Where's the Cobra? I can't see him.
Yeah, I can't either.
Let me turn right and look. Take a look. See where he's at. Okay, you're on the go. And increase for traffic. Legacy 104 is on the go to the west across the center lines. Increase for traffic. Okay, you're at 41. Stay right about there, right? Yeah. Here we go. Here to the left. Okay. You're good. Play over these fields out here.
The Cobra.
Yeah, this is good. Roll out. Okay. I got the water playing out there. Yeah. Yeah. And a right turn. Clear right. I do have a target 2 o'clock, just above the horizon. Got him on that Cobra, looks like coming left. Yeah, let's keep it towards the river so we don't impact these people over here.
Coming all the way around.
Okay.
Looks good. I'll see you later.
How's the time, Bill? Time's good. I got target 2 o'clock, no factor.
November is taxi
No factor?
departure runway 1. Taylorville traffic station here 3907 golf, descending out of 5,000, 3 miles.
And I can do it down to 104.
Thanks for handling.
Yeah, the rotor wash is going to the east. I got it. That's a good thing. Yep. Looks like a load. Just those two, and we're good.
Frequent traffic circle, 23 November, starting runway 16, it's going to be VFR to the south, Aggie.
Okay, that was actually pretty wild. Holy smokes. Did some dips and maneuvers that I was definitely not expecting, but definitely a cool experience. John, what'd you think of that?
It was great.
Bring back some memories?
Good memories, and I could just stay in there all day long. Though. It's just awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, I have to say, whew, that was pretty awesome. Got our Cobra just landing here. No lie, I was a little bit nervous going into that, but I love to experience history anywhere I can, and to jump in a Huey helicopter and ride in there with a man like John Stillman. Well, that's hard to beat. So anyway, so glad that we did this today. Don't know what I'm going to do to top that one. That was fun.